Figures, right?
So much about funders. So much about funders.
Can you close that
Yeah,
door?
technology.
Well, not that I think we'll have a lot of parents, to be honest with you, but
Right.
admit. Okay, wait. It did start.
I did.
Yeah. But I took the.
There we go. Okay, now it's letting me in.
Sorry, thanks.
Nope, you're fine. Bye.
I'm not going in there. I'm listening. I'm not going in there. Because I'm not.
Hi, everybody. We're just going to give a couple more minutes for folks to join the meeting here. And I'll share my screen really quick so I can orient families in case they haven't used Zoom before. But right here at the, oh, that's right. It won't show me. At the bottom of your screen, when you hover, there should be a menu bar that looks like this. There'll be a chat option. It won't show on mine currently because I'm in the presenter mode, but you can go ahead on the bottom left-hand side, hit the chat bar if you do want to enter anything into the chat. Looks like we do have a couple more parents trickling in. And then really the purpose of the meet and greets for the grade bands is so that you can see the specific schedule for your child there, and then ask any questions that you might have, for the 5th grade team. We have a couple more parents joining. Oh, we have more parents joining your team meeting than they did for ours, which is good. No, but a lot of parents. All right, and while we're waiting, if everybody wants to go ahead in the chat box and type their child's name, just so we can get an idea of who is here. All right.
Teen Line, is there a password? I just had a parent text me saying that it's asking for a passcode.
It shouldn't be, but let me look at no, I only have a meeting ID. Hold on. Try 758-137.
We have 87 without the cases.
Good morning, everyone.
Okay, 5th grade team, did you have a specific presentation you wanted to use? Perfect. So I will enable sharing right now. And why don't we go ahead and get started? If any parents join late, they can just join in as we start. And then 5th grade team, this is recording, so I will shave off this wait time, and then we could send out the recording to the rest of the parents that weren't able to make it. Becky, are you able to, I just saw your message. Are you able to share your screen?
Yeah, let me see if it'll work. Let's see.
If not, I absolutely can.
There, can you see it?
Yep.
Great.
They're gonna help watch them for me.
Okay, so first of all, welcome back to school, even though it looks very different. And the rest of my 5th grade team, go ahead and chime in if and when you need to.
Welcome back. I'm Mrs. Schmidt.
And I'm Mrs. Lofgren, so let's go ahead and here is our team. So if everybody wants to kind of go in order, Mrs. Schmidt, you want to go ahead and get started?
Sure, I'm Mrs. Schmidt. Your child probably knows me from last year, from being across the hall from Mr. Nader and Mrs. Fischetti. I teach ELA and science.
And I'm Mrs. Lofgren, and I teach math and social studies.
Dawn Gallagher, intervention specialist.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Robert Johnson. I'm an intervention specialist. I'm moving up from the 3rd and 4th grade to the 5th and 6th grade this year, so I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of our 4th graders into 5th grade this year.
Definitely. Okay, so I'm sure that one of the biggest questions everybody has is, what is my student schedule going to be? So this is the basic outline of what each homeroom schedule is going to be. They're pretty much exactly the same, just flip-flopped. So if your child is in my homeroom, they'll have social studies and math in the morning and science and ELA in the afternoon. And then if they're in Mrs. Schmidt's homeroom, it'll be flipped, science and ELA in the morning, and then math and social studies in the afternoon. So again, this will be sent out. Mrs. Hainline, can we send these slides somehow too?
Sorry, you probably can't see me because you're in presenter mode. Yes, that's no problem.
Okay.
I gave you a thumbs up and I was like, she can't see that.
Nope. Nope, I have the,
I know, we're going to get it together. This is how our kids are going to feel. So don't worry. We're just in the same boat with you guys.
we are all learning. It is fine.
And in our schedules, they do look very generic right now. That's because we didn't get to make a slide to make it very detailed about what independent work looks like. That will come later. But just so, I guess, be more concerned of the times that we're doing this, because your child's going to have to log out, log in, or set a timer. We're encouraging them to use their timers so they can be back to class for a live lesson on time.
Yeah, definitely. And that's one of the things we'll be doing, helping them do, is setting up different alarms so that throughout the day they have alarms that are going off and reminding them when they need to log on with their teacher. We're encouraging them to stick to this schedule as soon as possible, but we also know, sometimes something might come up, and we are going to be flexible, with your student. And as long as they're getting their work done, that's the main thing. So there's a lot of components in this. We'll get a little bit more into these when we get to the curriculum slides, but this is just the general outline. The biggest things to look at are going to be these live lessons. So that's when they're actually going to be in a quote unquote class session with either myself or Mrs. Schmidt. And those are going to be the big ones for them to make sure that they are ready for. And you saw on this previous slide, they have specials just like they do every year. It's going to be a daily schedule. So last year they had one special for the whole week, and then the next week they had the next special and rotated through that way. Because of the virtual setting, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, they will have the same special every Monday. So every Monday, my homeroom will have computer science. Every Monday, Mrs. Schmidt's homeroom will have art, and so forth. Mrs. Hainline, this is a question for you because I'm not 100% sure. What do Wednesdays look like as far as specials?
So there will be no specials on Wednesdays. It'll just be the 4 days a week while we're in the remote setting. However, there may be activities from any one of the teachers that they would be asked to complete during that Wednesday asynchronous time. So there'll be activities available, but they won't be meeting live with any teachers. And when I say that, I just want parents to know this is really the bare minimum and the guidelines the district has set out. So some folks are saying like 3 hours is way too much for my kid. And some parents are saying, I need way more intervention for my child. And we're completely aware of that. So things like students with disabilities, those teachers may want to pull and meet with them in a small group on Wednesdays. So when we
You led.
Oh,
Perfect.
perfect. Okay, perfect.
It's
Sorry.
fine.
I didn't mean to
Fine.
steal thunder.
No, you're fine. I just didn't know for sure about like what specials would look like on Wednesdays. Like I didn't know if there was a rotation or anything like that. So on Wednesdays, it is technically all independent work. Your student may receive extra one-on-one help or small groups, maybe some tutoring. Based on assessments, Mrs. Schmidt or I might decide like, hey, we want to meet with these 5 students today, but that will be scheduled specifically. So what you can count on is scheduled independent work for those days. Wednesdays, on top of us using that time for one-on-one small groups tutoring, is also for us to communicate with families, collaborate with each other, and attend different trainings to make sure that we are providing the best remote education that we possibly can, because we have learned a ton in the past couple of weeks and there's still a lot more for us to learn.
Yeah.
So give us some, we're going to give as much grace as we can, and we ask that you give us as much grace as you can, because we're all trying to figure out this brand new thing. I mean, even us veteran teachers are feeling like we're first year teachers again. We've got a lot to figure out. So we're doing the best we can, and we know you are too. So for curriculum, how your student's going to learn. For math, we're using Eureka again this year. So if you were with us last year, it's the same exact program, but we're adding 2 programs that are designed by Eureka. They're called InSync and Equip. So InSync has videos that I'm going to require that students have watched before coming to my live lessons. So that's going to be something that's really important that I'm going to ask for your guys' help on as much as possible, making sure that they are actually watching and paying attention to that video and completing what they're called must-do problems before they come to me. Because once they come to me, that's going to be really getting into the nitty-gritty of like, how did we solve this problem, and having a discussion and really building on their understanding. So if you are somebody who maybe can't monitor your child during that when they're supposed to watch the video, that might be something that you watch the night before. I'm really asking for parent support in that, because that's going to help me leverage my time with them as much as possible. And then Equip is a pre-assessment program. So we know that last year kids had some gaps and maybe have some learning that they have a couple, some misconceptions, things that they aren't sure of. This is going to help me figure out exactly where your child needs extra help to get access to the grade level content. So if they're completing this independently, I'm also really asking that you don't help them at all. If they need a word read or something like that, that's fine. But this is really helping me. This is not like a grade or anything. During independent time, they'll use MobyMax, which they should have used last year if they were with Orchard, and InSync that I just talked about. And then on Wednesdays, they might also be assigned work on Khan Academy, because they have more of those interactive or independent times. For social studies, again, if you were with Orchard last year, we're using social studies or studies weekly again. I'll be using that to guide my live times. They'll have independent assignments on studies weekly. And then on Wednesdays, they might also be assigned work on MobyMax. Mrs. Schmidt?
Okay. with the language arts or ELA curriculum, we are using Wit and Wisdom again this year. If they were with Orchard, they are familiar with the format. They might need help with you. However, and I'll get into this later, with their iPads, there are options and ways that the text can be read to them. There's ways that they can look up a word by clicking on it, and the iPad will read it to them and give them definition. So that I'll go over with more, but they should be able to work on this independently without much of your help. And there are readings and booklets that the students will have to create their assignments or complete their assignments. And then there times that they're not on live sessions, they'll be using MobiMax and then Newsela again this year. And they are familiar with both of those. So this should not be something where they've got to struggle to manipulate it. And again, we'll go over with the students. Very easy to get to all of these. And they will have a QR code to get into their main menu, which is called Clever. But again, I'm not going to get into that right now, but just so you know, that's, they'll be fine with this. I'm not worried about it. And then in science,
Oops. Oh, there we go.
we're going to use Science Fusion again this year. The same, they're used to that. They will, I'm assuming, and Mrs. Hainline said that the supplies or materials were in for Science Fusion. So I'm assuming they will get their science book and their science. There's maybe a workbook. If not, I have an online version of Science Fusion that I can use along with the book. Students will also be challenged to do projects and activities. So what that means is on Wednesdays, I may give them a project to do, or as you'll see my next bullet, Mystery Science will be used on Wednesdays, because in Mystery Science, it's all in one. It's packaged all in one. There's a video, there's an explanation, there's an activity, there's an assessment. So my thoughts are maybe Wednesdays using my Mystery Science according to the curriculum, whatever standards we're working on. So that would be my science curriculum.
Okay, so for expectations, I know Mrs. Hainline went and Mr. Funk went over some of this in the school-wide session, but if you missed that one, our rules at Orchard are be respectful, be responsible, be safe. So a couple of things that fall under that: being respectful. Students should be dressed to learn. We're not requiring dress code or anything, but we're asking that they be school appropriate, especially because they're going to be on camera. And just like when we are in any session, students should keep their microphone muted unless the teacher asks them to unmute themselves. This helps cut down on some of that background noise and helps everybody focus. Be responsible. If students, like I said, if they're supposed to watch a video or do something prior to class, that needs to be completed. Some live lessons are going to be dependent on that independent work. So they're going to have that completed in order to really participate in the live lesson. And then students should work in a space where they can focus. Please let us know if you need assistance setting up a space, ideas of how to set that up, ideas of what to put in that space. And then being safe. Screenshots and screen recording during live lessons is not allowed by anyone besides the teacher. This helps protect student privacy, especially because if students have their videos on and things like that. Don't forget to charge your iPad every day, okay? Especially these video conferences can drain their batteries. So we don't want them to be in the middle of a lesson and have their iPad die and have them get lost. So, just a good idea to make it a habit that, when school's done for the day, they, make sure that they've got it closed and plugged in so that it's ready to go the next morning. And then if you have any questions, and again, these will be shared, or, you don't have to worry about taking a picture or anything like that. Our emails and our phone numbers are all listed there. You can email us, call us, text us, and we will get back to you as soon as possible.
Are there any questions?
I do know Dave Funk wanted to introduce himself really quickly. He's our new assistant principal this year, and he joined on just a few minutes late. So if you don't mind, if he could just give a brief introduction.
Hi guys, it's great to see parents and a kid on video as well. So my name is Dave Funk. I'm joining Orchard from just down the road. I was at West 98th in Madison, a school called Marion Seltzer for the last 4 years. I'm excited to learn from Orchard. You guys at Orchard did a great job in the spring, at least compared to the other schools that I've seen. And so, I'm all hands on deck, whatever way I can help. I think the greatest, I think we're ready for virtual because of the last 5 years with the iPad integration. And so if your kids have been at Orchard for these last 5 years, I know that they could teach me a lot about the iPad. And we're going to learn together, and we're going to follow the lead of Becky and Debbie. And truly, it's going to be a great year. It'll definitely be a memorable year, but we're trying to also make it great in addition to being memorable. I'm going to put my cell phone number in the chat as well. So if you guys want to text me questions, I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Thank you, guys. Nice to meet you.
I did see a couple things I wanted to point out in the chat. So Mrs. Johnston, our music teacher, is working on doing choir and band during Wednesdays. So just so you know, that could be like a space where Wednesdays are used creatively. And I'm quite certain that our art teacher, he's going to do chess club, and like all the things that we've had available, we're going to try to make available during the remote period for you guys. And Ms. Weems asked, are we using Remind as well as those contacts? Currently we're not, because Schoology, the online platform that our district is using, will actually be the #1 source of communication. It's just not that it's at this point, not all parents are trained on it. There'll be like additional parent trainings, and it's not 100% up to capacity. It usually takes a whole year to get every system in place that you want to use Schoology, and we're doing it in 2 months because, again, we had anticipated a hybrid start. So we're getting it done as quickly as possible, and there's improvements every day. So for right now, the best forms of communication are through your teachers here. Our Orchard website is being updated almost daily, and we'll use the alert system there. So you have to actually click out of the alert before you can access our website if there's something new. And then our school Facebook page is also a place we can regularly update, but the school website for right now is the best space, and Schoology will be taking the place of our website in terms of the best place, although both will continue to be updated for you. And I'm also going to add my cell phone in here. I put my maiden name and still having trouble with that name change. Please feel free to text, call, and reach out. And don't feel like you're bothering me if I didn't answer you. My staff knows sometimes you got to text me twice. So I try to get back to everybody in a timely fashion, though. And it is a small group, so if any parent wants to come off mute and just ask a question or touch base with us, please feel free.
This Thursday, we are asking everyone to come up to the building with their iPad anytime between 8:30 and 3 o'clock. And if you don't have an iPad, we'll make sure to give you one. But it's important you bring up the old device because we want to make sure it's configured right for this upcoming school year.
All right, well, if there's no questions, we'll go ahead and end the meeting. What I will do, you guys, is I will send an email just to the 5th grade team, but Becky, if you sent me your presentation, I'll attach that, and I'll also attach the recording of this video for you guys.
Okay, and just one quick thing. Last week I was in a training, and the trainer said something that just sticks with me. It's an unprecedented year, so we need to give ourselves unprecedented grace. I just liked that. It's like my motto this year.
We're all going to get through it together. Like Dave said, we are the best prepared. I think it's scary for everybody, including us, because it's different. But we're here. We do know this. We're here to work with your child and meet their needs. So, what isn't working, we're going to find a way to support you in. And especially if, like, let's say you're working and you're like, I really am worried about needing some support for my child during the day. Like, I can't monitor them all day. That's our number one, what we're hearing is a number one concern. And the district is working with the Boys and Girls Club of America to actually have sites where you can take your children for the school day, which is great. So it's not 100% finalized those details because they are trying to do it for the entire district. So that's a lot of, it's like 20,000 kids. So we're just trying to figure out like the specifics of that and how Orchard, like what Orchard's space will be and where kids will go. But we are hearing that concern and we are working really hard to make sure we have partners that you can send your children to if you need to.
And I'd like to make one last comment on Mrs. Schmidt. We are trying to balance the screen time because we understand that you may have multiple children at home and it's really difficult to have all these devices going and things going on. So we're trying to kind of balance it where there will be, whether it's activities or something also they can do in a workbook or just something else that they can do so that doesn't always conflict with all the other kids in the household and that they're not on the entire time, because then that can get worry for them and they, you know, maybe get bored or whatever too.
All right, well, I'm gonna go ahead and end the meeting then. Thanks everybody for your time. We wanna respect that and we will get this information out to you. Take care.